So, after Thierry Breton, we have the great pleasure to welcome now Rafael Tordjman. It's a great pleasure to have you here at the HTID. It's fantastic, and we're going to spend the next 15 minutes talking about many things, but principally financing the next wave of leaders in biotech. And I wanted to start this evening, Rafael, with we often introduce you as a former intern, researcher at INSERM, 20 years in health tech. But I wanted to ask you about an article I read in the press recently, which is describing you as the godmother of biotech. How do you feel about that?
Okay. So first of all, good evening, everyone. I would like to thank very much HTID for not only the organization and the invitation, but also to be able to gather so many great people from the whole ecosystem. And I think it's great to highlight this way what is going on very positively in France and in Europe. So godmother, it was to give me some time to answer to godmother. So godmother, obviously very proud to hear that. I think it's, I don't know if I'm godmother, but at least what I could say is through my path, as first as a medical doctor, very much centric on the patient first. Then as a scientist, understanding what is the innovation behind, and to know that, as everyone knows in the room, that more than 70% of the drugs, innovative drugs, are coming from the startups, and we need this excellence of the science and innovation that we have in France and in Europe. So medicine, driver, patient-centric, and then the entrepreneur as an investor since the last 20 years, really pushing the ambition of the entrepreneur, and it's what led to the mission of Jeito Capital, who is to go faster for the patient, further with an entrepreneur, achieving a major performance. So hopefully godmother, but we have several godmother in the Jeito team, actually.
I'm sure you do. And just that point, your baseline is I really like that baseline. Go faster for the patient, further with entrepreneur. Is that the real essence of what Jeito is all about?
Yes, so indeed Jeito is a quite new fund, but accelerating and growing. Very, very proud and very delighted that we closed 2 weeks ago our final close of a fund of 534 million euro. And why such a big fund? So based in Paris and France, with a team in Europe and in US, to invest in biotech, mostly European, but to bring them right away, global reach, US and European market, with some differentiation, let's say, some diagnoses I made during my past years as an investor. And one is, not enough cash, and we all know that, but particularly in continuity, to be able to push this ambition of the entrepreneur, particularly in Europe, to help them to get enough means. And with Jeito, we could invest up to $100 million or 80 million euro to really all along, so starting early stage or late stage venture, let's say, and really pushing them in their ambition, growth, acceleration to the patient, that finally it is a value, accelerating to market access and commercialization. And the other differentiation, it's how, to make this strategy is the team, the Jeito team, that is made of multiple talents coming across the whole value chain, from the translational science to market access, IP, and all these people are integrated in the investment team, which is really and working as a deal team to serve the entrepreneur. So it's why further with the entrepreneurs, really pushing also the ambition, but always the patient first, and is going with performance normally.
So we could talk about patient-led investment being the heart of Jeito.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And when you see when you have drugs, very efficient and differentiated drugs for the patient, then you have performance. It's probably the only industry like that where it's very much related, benefit for the people and performance.
Recently, the Minister of Foreign Trade and Attractiveness and the Minister will be meeting later on this evening, Agnès Pannier-Runacher, recently gave you a new, let's call it a brand new mission. If I use it simply, the words are to promote the French biotech ecosystem among the leading international players. This is part of the never seen before massive health innovation program, which is starting, which is of course a long-term program. But what would you consider in this additional role? What do you consider, Rafael, as being the short-term priorities?
Yeah. Maybe before that, I would like to say that it's a kind of continuum, actually, and I'm not alone in Jeito as well with the team. It's at a very small scale, how to leverage that. And when I say it's a continuum, what is very important to say that Jeito had been supported by several players, especially insurance companies, that understood during the COVID particularly, but not only, also helped by the TB initiative in France, putting together all these insurance company, that even insurance company it's anti-risk, but they understood how much it's important, the innovation, therapeutic innovation, and to finance funds like Jeito, but obviously not only Jeito. I would like also to emphasize the role of the European Commission and the EIB and EIF to really understand also, and it was resonating with our strategy, not only the lack of capital in Europe, even with excellence of science, but also to put again more money in continuity. And we were lucky that at the same time when we launched Jeito, EIB published a report showing that in life science financing there is a miss of continuity in this financing. So I wanted just to say that because it's important in the part of the history, not only of Jeito, but also having all these stakeholders again working together to bring more and do more. So indeed, back to the mission, very honored, obviously, to get this mission, and the goal is really to indeed attract talents from in our ecosystem. It's maybe not directly in France, in terms of living in France, but it's again in our companies, board, talents in the biotech, but not only in healthcare, and we need everyone to be successful in this mission. And this mission is coming in the context of an announcement from our president end of June during the CIS outcome, so Innovation Healthcare 2030, with different very, very important initiatives. One is 7 billion more in innovation, so innovation for startups, SMEs, for biotherapy, for new emergence of COVID type or other infectious disease, for scientists, to answer to one of the questions early on, to keep our talents. So all of that is, again, we should do that all together. So.
Well, tomorrow we'll be having, at 3 o'clock, 3:05 actually, we'll be having a roundtable dedicated just to that, about talent. We hear a lot about people talking about talent management, how can we attract, how can we retain, this type of thing. But if we actually look at what we've already got, and what we've got in place, and here in Europe, not only in France, but across Europe, there is so much already in place and happening. What do you think are the strengths we have already and the opportunities this now brings us in terms of the creation with the talent today for the leaders of tomorrow?
Yeah. So first, I think we should not say we should retain, we should attract.
Exactly.
Even it's attracting back, and sometimes it's good to have a training or studying in the US and coming back. So that's I think more on the positive side. So in terms of indeed we have a lot, and actually tomorrow very happy that Stéphane Boissel, who is the CEO of Sparring Vision, who is one of our first investment from Jeito Capital, is going to speak and has been able to have this experience in the US and then come back and attracting. We have also in our portfolio InnoScale, which is a company based in the south of France in rare skeletal disorders, founded by Elvire Gouze, who is a serial entrepreneur, who was the founder of Terracon and expert in this field, and she spent 10 years in the US, and then she came back. She founded her own lab at INSERM, and then 2 companies. So they are examples. And what she had done recently with the company InnoScale after the financing is to attract a very top tier CSO coming from the US, actually a French but who had spent 20 years in the US from a very, very successful company as Bio in the same field of gene therapy, and attracting him, back to France. And I think we have a lot of people inside, obviously France and Europe, obviously, and outside. But we should not only attract these ex-French, but also and it's what we could see in the room, a lot of American and
absolutely, because this is very much an international event, and as you say, to bring them back, we have this sort of image, don't we, about always being trying to compete with our friends across the other side of the pond in America. People always go out there, but they are coming back. And so how can we, what are the next steps in the immediate future that we can now start taking to accelerate that return, and also to grow the talent we have already, the young talent that is coming up through our universities, our networks, our programs, to step into the biotech world of tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we are always downloading what we do in Europe, indeed. And when you are talking about US, actually the last 10 years, 8 times more investment from US investors in biotech, specifically in Europe. So it's coming in terms of investments and again, talents. So, and there are several very top tier funds in Europe, and we should probably not only, even we're happy to get always US investors, but not only wait for them and work together, because when you look at Forbion or Kurma in France, Andera, Sofinova, I mean they are, and I could name many others, LSP, and they are more and more great fund, big fund, and we have more and more serial entrepreneur as well. Like the example I was giving with InnoScale, Elvire, second company, or even Stéphane Boissel from Sparring Vision, it is his second company. So it's we need more success stories. Even sometimes they sell the company. Not all the company could become the market leader and unicorns. Even it's the goal of Jeito to do some of those, but having more and more success stories and diversity and diversity.
Yeah, and diversity and talking about them. And how if you had to give us let's say 3 adjectives to bring to some form of conclusion how you see the future of the financing for the next leaders in the future, what words would spring to mind?
So two types, I would say. Specifically to entrepreneurs, listen to your ambition and stick to it. And I would say to everyone, not only investors but entrepreneurs, choose France and Europe.
Yeah. And to be true to your convictions, to be ambitious, and to take that risk,
yes.
Go forward. Yeah, okay. And another thing that we read about often, the fact of taking too long, the need to accelerate and to execute, as we say, to go faster. Is this something that we can achieve here in Europe?
Yes, clearly, and it's I would say all the industry has grown up and more accelerating. Actually, if you look at the data, the companies that are going to reach, when they reach 1 billion or more, it has taken much less time when you compare 2012 compared with 2018. It has really accelerated. So when the execution is there, clearly and we should think actually very much focusing on execution is not because we innovate that we don't think about execution. So, and it's what we are trying, at our scale with Jeito, by bringing this integrated team into Jeito to really serve the entrepreneur, to anticipate, not only to do Europe and then US, anticipation of the market, but what you could do in parallel to save time. And we know that time is very important, particularly with the patent life and all the value it's related to.
And how do you see this development of the famous entrepreneur mindset? Being ready to take that risk, learning to fail fast, to go for it. Is this something we can really achieve?
Yeah, hopefully we are already. I think in tech there are probably more. One thing we may do more, it's sharing between peers. That's something typically tech CEOs, they are sharing a lot, and we should have more between our companies. I mean, not only Jeito, but dialogue and sharing the experience, and that's always super helpful. I would say, even to build Jeito it was a startup, sharing and getting advices. It's you save time.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. We're nearly out of time. Rafael, Tordjman, thank you so much for taking your time to be with us today at Health Tech Innovation Days.
Thank you. Thank you.